this is Cheryl McQueen, designer with Bello's Designs. Our project today is a fun, quick project creating a bookmark or tag that has a faux leather look. I love making bookmarks with this look. I think this would be a fun project to do as favors, like at a book club meeting or for small gifts. These make fun tags to dress up packages as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at the supplies that I'll be using today. We're going to be using a fun foam, and there are different brands out there, but they're all basically the same. They've just kind of got a thin foam that will be great for making our faux leather look. I got this one for 99 cents, so it's very inexpensive. We will need to cut out the shape of our tag. You can either do this with dies, which I have got the Sweet Poppy nesting. It's the tag nesting buddy die set, and as you can see, you've got all different kinds of sizes that you can choose from. This one is made by Sweet Poppy. Or if you don't have a cutting system or any die cuts or machine that you can use any system that you've got that will cut the foam. It's pretty fine and thin. You can also use scissors just to draw out your design on your foam and cut it out with your scissors. So you don't have to necessarily have this, but it sure does make it nice and fast. The stamp that I'm going to use today is the Sweet Poppy stamp. This one is the Sunflower DL stamp small. You can see that one. I thought that made a really fun looking stamp there. And then we will do some words on it. On this one I used Wish. I think for my next one I'll go ahead and do Inspire. This one is Lavinia. It's Balance set of words, and it's LAV 816. We will use two types of ink. We will use our VersaFine Clear. We're going to use the Acorn color. And then we will use our Lavinia Elements ink, and this is Truffle. To do that, we will want to also have a little blending brush here so we can give our leather look a little bit more of a touch that looks that way. You can use your stamping platform, which is what I will probably do, or you can just use an acrylic block. I actually did this one, the flower, on the stamping platform, and then I use my acrylic block to use to make the word impression in there. So you can choose whichever is easiest for you or supplies that you've got on hand. And then we will use a hole punch to punch that in, or if you've got a circle die, you can also create your hole that way. You'll want to have a heating tool on hand. I've just got this little Ranger heated, but you can use an embossing gun or whatever you've got on hand for heating it up. You might get a little bit of smearing, so I just went ahead and sprayed this lightly after I finished the project. You can use either a hairspray or the Krylon Matt finishing spray, and that will just help keep the ink from smearing some. And then I finished off the project with just a little bit of twine. You can use twine or yarn or whatever you happen to have on hand. All right, so let's start working on our project. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is cut out our shape. So I just took my fun foam and I went ahead and used the Sweet Poppy little die set that I have here. I used the one, I think it was about this size right here. That's kind of the fourth one, but you can pick the size, so you can do any size that you like. And then I just took a hole punch and punched the hole in the top. So what I'm going to do is start out very, very simply, and I am going to take my stamping platform and I'm going to kind of lay out and measure where it is that I want my foam to be. So I'm just going to line it up just to get the idea of where I want it, put it in there, and then I'm going to line up my stamps. And I've decided for this one I'm going to use the word Inspire, and I'm going to put it at the top. As you can see on my other example, I just went ahead and did Wish down at the bottom. So you can use whatever words and positioning on your stamps that you would like to use. Let's get that Inspire lined up. All right, and then I'm just going to get them onto my door. And as I said, you can use an acrylic block. You know, if you've got several different sizes, then that will fit your stamps. That will work just as well. So now I'm going to go ahead and take my VersaFine Clair Nocturne, and I'm going to ink up my stamps. I'm sorry, I said Nocturne. This is actually Acorn. I like the Acorn because it really gives a nice look. That gives you that look of leather that's been, you know, tooled and then finished off. So get a really good coating on there. And then I am actually going to remove my little piece of the foam and take my heat tool, and I'm going to heat this up. And that basically helps it to get a much better, deeper impression when it's a little bit more warm. As you do this, you will find that the foam will kind of curl up a little bit on the edges. And when you get that little bit of curling, then you can figure out that that's probably going to be a really nice heating to give it that I guess, what do you call it? Maybe like the consistency that you want. Okay, so you see how my edges are kind of folding up there? So that just makes it a little softer so that it'll take the impression a little bit easier. So now I'm going to lay my foam back down. And before it cools off too much, I'm going to go ahead and take my stamp and I'm going to press down really, really hard, because what I'm wanting is for the stamp to make a little dimensional impression into the foam. That gives it even more of that tooled leather look if you've got that impression going on in there. So I'm pressing really hard because I really, really want that nice crisp impression in there. All right. Hopefully we've got a really nice, good impression. And we're going to open up the door. And there we go. So, I don't know, it's going to be very hard, obviously, for you to see that this is actually indented in with the impression that we got from our stamp. So now we can set aside our stamping platform because we're not going to need it anymore. And I'm going to let that dry for just a tiny little bit for a second, just to make sure that I don't smear it. All right. So now I want to give it a little bit of that more leather look. And to do that, we're simply going to take the Elements Truffle and our blending brush. Now what I'm going to do is just get a little bit of the ink, and I'm not going to press hard at all. In fact, I just barely want to brush the surface just a little bit, just in kind of random ways, just to get a little of that impression that it looks like leather. So just lightly brush it and dash it. You can have some darker spots and some lighter spots. If you kind of feel like that you're getting a little too much ink on it, then just take a little piece of scrap paper, and when you get a little ink on there, just brush it off before you go onto your piece of foam. I kind of like those darker marks. That I sometimes get. As you're lightly brushing it, that's what gives you that look of the worn leather. All right. Do as little or as much as you like to get the look that you want. Alright, and then to kind of give it just a little bit more of a finishing, just take your brush with a little bit of ink and kind of rub it along the edge. This will kind of help to also give it that finishing look that you get on leather. And just go all around the entire edge of it. You can also use a dauber if you don't want to use your brush. Okay. And basically that is it. That is all that you have to do. So as you can see with this one, I did a little bit of decoration with a little bit of twine. So I'm just going to take some twine here, and let's see, where are my scissors? Sorry about that. I thought I had those right here with me. We're just going to cut our twine, and I like to do about 3 pieces. You can do whatever you like. Yarn also looks really cool. And then all I'm going to do is just take that feed it through the hole. Oops, missed one of my pieces there. There it is. Feed that through. And I'll just take the ends and kind of feed them back through that loop that I've created. And there it is. It is completed and finished. Now, I did not spray this. I probably will go ahead and take this out and spray it just because I don't want to get it to smear on my hands or anything. It will dry probably after a while, after you let it sit for a few minutes. But I like to go ahead and spray it. And sometimes when you spray it, it also makes the ink colors pop a little bit. Thank you so much for watching my video tutorial today. This is a really fun and fast project that is very inexpensive to make. Remember to check out the DellBellowsDesigns.com website for more tutorials on the design team page. Have a great day.